Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your girl, Kimberlon B, back again with Under the Scope on a Saturday. And this is a special edition of Under the Scope because it's the Valentine's Day Eve edition. And I'm so glad that you are spending your Valentine's Day Eve with me. I hope everything is going well. Just a little bit about me. My name's Kimberlon B. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Phoenix, Arizona. Been in the field for about 8 or 9 years. Mostly work with adults with co-occurring conditions. I also work with domestic violence survivors, which I'm glad that Roshanda's here today to talk to us about healthy relationships because that's near and dear and very important to me. And also, who else? I just work with anyone that has a potential that they want to reach. As long as it's something that's healthy and safe, I'm right there with them, walking every step of the way. Under the Scope is a scope cast. We bring fabulous people on here, honey. We bring them on here in their knowledge, their skills, their abilities, and most important, whatever contribution they have for mental health awareness so they can get the word out also. And I'm so grateful. I've been doing this since August. And I've reached out to people over and over again, and they have said yes. So that's how I know that I'm on the right path, and I am so thankful for it. Any information on Under the Scope is for informational, conversational, and educational purposes and does not substitute you seeking a higher level of care or any safety or whatever you have to do. And if you have any questions about that, regardless of where you are, please reach out to me in the chat or find me on Facebook at Kimberlon BLPC and feel free to message me. Um, so today, before I turn it over, I have to say this guest is really special for me because I didn't have the person I had scheduled actually wasn't able to do it. So I put out a post like, hey, can you come on? Can anyone come on here and do this show on the 13th and talk about healthy relationships? And man, let me tell you, Roshanda answered and she was like, I will do it. I will bring it. And I was so excited and really honored that she was able to do it on a moment's notice. So I'm really grateful to it. And I'm grateful that she's coming. And not only is she coming, I mean, she's locked and loaded. She has a wealth of information. And before I turn it over to her, this is how it goes on Under the Scope, unless Rashonda says otherwise. Any questions you may have or comments, utilize your chat or your raise hand feature. And then at the end, after Rashonda talks about healthy relationships, we're going to take her under the scope where you'll be able to ask her questions as well. Unrehearsed, unscripted questions. So it seems like she's ready, everyone, and I'm excited. When I met with her, let me tell you, we had a whole podcast. We talked for about an hour. So she's down to earth, and I'm grateful that she says yes. Let's get this train moving so I won't talk the whole hour. Turning it over to you, Miss Roshanda Casteel.
So I got my imaginary applause in the
Oh,
background.
yay!
Hello, everybody. I am Roshanda Casteel. I'm from Long Beach, California, by way of Compton, California. I have to have them both together. I am the owner of Progressive Family Solutions. I am the proud mother of 7 amazing children, 5 sons, 2 daughters. Um, at Progressive Family Solutions, my mission is just to help families who have challenges when it comes to DCFS, Child Protective Services. So at Progressive Family Solutions, our services are domestic violence, anger management, and parenting. And we have several other programs that go under that umbrella because my mission, once again, is global family wellness. I was married for 10 years. I went through the divorce and the bittersweet, and that's about me and mine, and the hell with him. That was the attitude, that was the perception that I had for several years, and my oldest son at that time was like 8 or 9 years old. So watching him grow and develop from 8 or 9 to now almost 18 years old, I think the light kind of came on, and my I shifted a little bit in my mindset and the thought process when it came to family, because I think for the longest time, my perception was like, the hell with him, it's about me and mine, and that we gonna do what we gonna do, we gonna keep it pushing. But I really noticed within the last couple of years the effect that mindset that I had damaged my children. It damaged my children to the point where it's like I really couldn't identify, because I was so caught up in that space about how I was feeling, and let me do what's best for me and my kids on my own thought, on my own the way I was feeling things. So I had kind of got into a new relationship, and life just started happening. Me and this person were dating for maybe 2 years, and my oldest son, he kind of felt like he was being kind of pushed out the way, so he wanted to go to his grandmother's house. And he went to his grandmother's house, and when it was time for him to come back, he said he didn't want to come back. And that's when life just started happening for me. He was very vocal that he didn't want to come back, because he had his reasons. He was kind of being coerced, which was a sad situation, because after the fact, they actually opened up a DCFS case on me, because the grandmother called the police and said, "Hey, this he doesn't want to go back." He made allegations of abuse and all kind of stuff. So we went to court for maybe 6 months. They did lie detector tests on us. They did everything to really try to identify what was the issue. So he ended up being honest with his attorney and the people who were representing him, and basically said, well, my grandmother said, she'll buy me a video game and some Jordans, and my mom wouldn't buy me a video game. I didn't have $800 for no video game for you to tear up. So he really didn't understand the reasons why I didn't do what I did. So in this process, it really made me take a step back and really think about, like, what am I really doing as a mother? You know what I'm saying? How am I really helping them feeling the way that I feel towards their father and their family? Which I was very upset, because in that process, when he was at his grandmother's house, I mean, they had got my son an IEP. I got a letter stating that they were trying to put child support on me. I've been to IEP. I said, well, how do you get an IEP? And I had parental rights. I had never had any rights or anything taken from me. And I went to the school district, reached out to me and said, hey, we really don't know what's going on with Elijah. And I told them the situation. So they said, hey, let's have a meeting. Come out here to the school. That's when I was notified that he was deaf. I was like, oh, he's deaf. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when did this happen? So in all in this time period, I notified that he was deaf. He defecated on himself. It was so much going on, and the school system didn't really understand. Well, they were trying to coerce him, because the grandmother and aunt, they're foster parents. So the thing was, the more services that he needed, the more money they get in a check. So they kind of manipulate him. Hey, we'll give you some money. We'll buy this game. And then that's when everything just started really unfolding for me. And when to kind of like key in on like the relationships that we have with our families, I never could really understand why the grandmother would do that. And I never really got a reason why. She never gave me a reason. I never really quite understood the situation. But 6 months go by, we finally get out the court system. Next thing you know, she's in Harbor, UCLA. She passes on April 17th. They put my baby out on April 20th. So once they
Mm.
seen he was no longer going to benefit everybody the way they thought, and they kind of put him in this situation. And then remind you, since he wasn't with me, and they opened a DCFS case, they let him stay there until they decided where he was going to go. But at that time, it was just like a very difficult time, because remind you, it's me and 6 kids and my fiance going back and forth to court. So it's a lot of trust issues and a lot of bonds that were definitely broken, and my kids were very vocal. My older teenagers, they were like, well, mom, why would you let him back in here after all the stuff that he did to us? And it wasn't so much the fiance that was really saying too much of anything. He was like, he didn't really have too much to say about the whole thing because I guess he wanted to be supportive, but he really didn't want me to badmouth my son. But he didn't really have to. The other siblings kind of stepped up and say, "Mom," because I at first my perception was like, "That's my son. I want him back home. I want him here," and then the kids were like, "No, we don't want him here. We don't want him here." So then that's when life just started unfolding, and I really started digging a little bit deeper and really trying to really understand why I felt the way that I felt. I had a reason, but I would say I feel like I've always loved my family, but I think this situation made me fall in love with my family. Just to know that a person can say something and it can go one way. And I really thank God because the team that I had, the attorneys that I had, the judge that I had, these people would call me all the time and say, "Miss Castile, I don't know how you did it." I mean, he would lie on the staff, he would lie on the social workers. And so basically what it kind of helped me understand is if you got we got to go back some more layers. His father was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia when he was 25. So Elijah was already 3. So it has like layers when it comes to the relationship with the grandmother and everything. So it just all this whole situation, it never really made sense to me until I shifted my mindset. I said, this really has nothing to do with me, but more so the kids and the relationships that I have with them. I started sitting down with them, asking them, "How do you feel about me?" Now, so what are some things that you like about me? What are some things that you don't like about me? Because I really wanted to know because I didn't want to walk around like I'm the mom. I'm taking care of my kids. It's me and mine. And I just seen how everybody was falling apart. Everybody was falling apart. So I had to stop and say, even though I want to have this persona like it's me and my kids and I can do this by my own. I'm a black woman, hear me roar. I had to kind of like back up. And I had a social worker who came to me one day and she said, "Miss Castile," she said, "these people want to take your kids." She said, "But they can't." She said, "Every time they come for you, you give them something and they're like, 'Where did she come from?'" I said, "Because guess what? Y'all got the right idea, but I'm no crackhead. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to come up in here in my house and do the things that you guys are doing because a lot of people are very intimidated when they come to DCF." Um, so I went through the whole system. I went through the court system, meeting the supervisors and the social workers, and really basically getting to know these people. And then they told me that I need to get a counselor, a therapist. So I was like, "I don't need a therapist. I'm not crazy." You know what I'm saying? That was my mindset. So I said, "Okay, let me be quiet and get a therapist." And they said, "You need to take a parenting class." I took a parenting class. The guy that I met was amazing. And he stayed with me for like 3 hours every Saturday for a month. And he just started really helping me. He was like, "You know what? You need to be doing XYZ and this." And as I said, "Well, I have a nonprofit organization and it's for single mother and children and yada yada yada." So he really kind of helped me shift my mindset and just the overall perspective of everything in my experiences. And at first it was like, I know that people when you first of all, when you're in a DCF case, and it's kind of embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? It's first of all, it's embarrassing. For second of all, it's like, okay, what did I do? But the reality of it is like, even though the case was dismissed and everybody came back home and everything, I was guilty in a lot of areas. That's what it helped me to see. I wasn't guilty of the allegations, but I really wasn't. I was guilty of not for thinking that I could do everything by myself. I was guilty of being a mother and thinking that I knew what was best for my kids at all times until I was there talking to the parenting instructor and he was like, "You're doing it." He's like, "You're doing parenting, you're doing relationships." So I went through this whole experience and I thank God for it. I said, because what the enemy thought that he was doing for my bad, he really did it for my good. It was an enlightening situation. And just being in that court building with all those families, all those children and just looking at everybody's perspective. And I know when they told me I need to take a parenting class, I need to take a therapy class, they gave me this minute order. You guys, I had this paper for 30 days, never looked at it. I just thought it was a receipt, proof that I came to court. I never knew until some lady said, you need to take a parenting class. So when I started going, I said, hey, this system is set up to take our kids from us. And I could just see all these families in this court system. I said these people need an advocate. Not only do they just need an advocate, they need somebody that looks like them, somebody that can relate. And then it's just like it just made perfect sense. So then this whole COVID situation came. I was already on maternity leave, and I said, Lord, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna get certified. And I'm gonna help. If I'm gonna help, I'm gonna do it right. And I'm the perspective from my experiences pulling back these layers when it deals with families, because a lot of us, we want to go surface. When you're dealing with families and you're dealing with relationships, it goes back generations and generations, because I had a strong-willed mother, and it was about her and her kids, and she don't need a man and all that. And it was just, and I think about, my mindset and how I was. I'm like, hold on, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a myth. And I think that a lot of black families really need to just shift. Just shift the thought process, because at the end of the day, you and whether you have a man in your life or a woman in your life, at the end of the day, we're shaping and we're molding the thought processes and everything when it comes to our children. So that's what I have to start this element. It's not about me and how I feel about these people and what they're doing, but I look at all these babies, and the mom is going that way and the dad is going that way, and it's all this negative energy in between, and those are the kids. They don't know how to dissect. They don't know how to understand. They have doubts. They're trying to feel like, is it something that I did wrong as a kid? So I watched these families not having anybody in this court system to really advocate for them. So I sat back and I said, I have these programs. So I've been doing the sisterhood meetings for 8 years, out of my house, out of my living room. And then God blessed me in September. I have my own building space and everything now. So we still can do it. It's called Every Woman is Worthy. And I call it the Worthy Woman Sisterhood Group, because a lot of times we don't feel like we're worthy enough. It doesn't matter the background. We have women who are ex-offenders, just got out of prison, got a PhD, and let me tell you, these wombs, they bleed the same. They bleed the same, because you can have I've talked with women who have major degrees and all these kind of things, but at the end of the day, we have so many layers, and all of them go back to childhood issues. So I said we need to shift these relationships. We have to start exposing our weaknesses and our strengths to our kids, so they can know that, hey, I'm not perfect, I don't have it all together, I was only doing what I thought was best. So when you talk about family, to me, it's like it's a different vibe. It's like I get this like tugging feeling in my heart, because it's like for so long we do things the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to wait till your son or your daughter is in prison, they're in jail, they letting somebody manipulate them, all because of the childhood traumas and the issues that we deal with as children. They shape our relationships into our adult life, and next thing you know, that we live what we learn. What we see is what we learn. So I don't want my daughters to think that, or my kids to think that, I hate their dad or I hate their father. Just there's just differences, and you got to be open. You got to be willing to expose the good, bad, and the ugly. That's the only way you get any freedom dealing with relationships and dealing with family. That's the only way. You got to drop your guards. You got to be openly honest. A lot of struggles and setbacks. We want our kids to think that, hey, mommy got it going on, but the house is crumbling. You know what I'm saying? You strong, but the walls are falling down. So it's like you got to take a step back and say, hey, what am I doing wrong? To be honest with myself, because I come from a single family household, and I met my father when I was 17 years old. And just to listen to the relationship that my mom had with him, my mom was 17 and my dad was 37. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So there's so many layers and components. So I even start asking my parents, like, hey, what happened? What happened in your childhood? So I never knew that my father was raised by a single mother. So sometimes you got to take a step back and not think about yourself, but think about the people that you really care about in the equation and how you can be a better you and expose that stuff because our kids really don't know what we go through as parents, trying to, hold it all together, trying to make sure they have what they need, trying to put on front face for the world and all that. And it's like, I'm right now where I am in my life. You really have to save your ass. You can't save your face. It's not about what it looks like. It's about what it is. So if I can't be honest to my family and to myself, everything else I'm doing is in vain. It doesn't make any sense.
A question for you. Wow,
Yes,
that was powerful. Back, you said when you were growing up and you grew up in like a single family
yes,
household, did that impact you with your relationships, even from like even making friends or probably
yes.
dating in school?
Let me explain. I would say I grew up in a single family household because my mom was married, but he wasn't there. She was married, but she didn't have a husband. You know what I'm saying? So, and I had a stepfather who raised me, so he gave me a good example what a man was or was supposed to be. But just the relationships is like this doesn't make sense. So even when I grew up, I've been distant, a loner. I think I'm a social learner, a social loner, if you know what that is. Like I know a lot of people, but I don't know nobody because
Hmm.
I know a lot of people. I don't mind talking, sharing information, but I'm like in this little bitty bubble by myself. My grandma always told me I was a very peculiar kid. I don't know if I didn't get a chance to ask her before she passed, was that a good thing or a bad thing? So I don't know, but just growing up in that household, I feel like my mom never gave us the opportunity to express ourselves. It was kind of like, you do what I say, and I watched for years. It's like I even took on some of those bad habits. I even took on some of those bad habits for a long time. It's like I can remember being a kid, I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand her. And then turn around, I see my 13-year-old daughter, like, oh my God, I can't stand her. I'm like, am I doing it? Am I doing that? It's like I don't want to do that. I want to be that. I want to create an environment where it's open. I want to create a environment where there is boundaries. You know what I'm saying? There's like a crust. You know what I'm saying? So I give my kids, if something is going on in the house, they feel a certain kind of way. I gotta say, you got 2 minutes to say whatever you want to say. Get off your mind, however you want to deliver it. And I'm not an old fashioned truck. My kids cuss, and when I give them that, they express themselves because my mom didn't really let me cuss. I'm kind of like a passive aggressive kind of parent, whatever like that. But I feel like if they express themselves to me, you know what I'm saying, they can drop their guards with me and I can drop my guards with them. I think that's a good place because the stuff that they talk to me and say to me is like I could never imagine expressing that to my mom. If she would only knew how I felt about her relationships with these men. If she only knew how I felt at that time. And I remember moving out of my mother's house when I was 17. My mom had a boyfriend. I expressed to her that, hey, when you left, you went to work. I'm in the shower getting ready for work. He comes in the bathroom. I feel this energy in the bathroom. I peek through the curtain like, hey, why are you in here? And I tell her, and basically, she expresses me that my buttocks and my breasts and everything is just as big as hers, and I think I'm a woman, and it's time for me to get out. So I haven't
Wow.
been back home since 17 because I'm telling her the kind of men that she picking is not what that needs to be here. So I never want my kids to be in a situation where they feel like they can't express to me anything, no matter what it is. So you really have to take you out the equation and try to figure out what's best for the family, the relationships, because I'm the oldest of four. And I promise you, if you had me and my siblings in one room, you wouldn't even know we were related. You wouldn't know that
Wow.
we were related because we were never taught that bond. Like even my kids, I talk to them together. I'm like, you need her. You guys are like a puzzle. You guys need each other. You guys can elevate each other. So growing up in the house where the siblings, you wouldn't even know we were sisters and brothers. I promise you. I live in the house in the front, and my brother lives in the house in the back. I probably see him every single day. We probably talk like maybe twice a week. That's only when he needs something or want me to move my car. So
Mm.
even when it comes to my immediate family with my siblings, I've been trying a new approach. Like I told my mom, at least once a month, let's do a Zoom call where we all talk for at least 30 minutes, because that's something that we weren't taught as a kid. So I'm trying to implement the stuff that I've learned over my lifespan into this moment right here. How we'll be able to use all this stuff to help build better relationships in our families, because there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of doubt, and it's like the last place you need to feel unworthy or doubt, or is you to feel unloved and wanted, is in your immediate family, in your own house. In your own house, that's a bad feeling. And I remember those feelings. So that's why I'm trying to make it my business to tap into my family. Even though I know that we're all distant, I said something has to change, because all of us have children. Um, and it's not like it used to be. Your kids don't know the cousins and the first cousins and the second cousins and all that. If you don't introduce them to each other, we definitely need a lot of change, and we need a lot of healing in our families. But I do believe just these programs and just the organization alone, being able to just start from where we are. And I get a pretty good response out of my community. I get a lot of people say, "Oh, I've always seen this building, but I never knew what it was." I'm like, "Well, it wasn't that, but it is now." So just to get the energy and the people to always say, "Well, I need this," or like sometimes even if I don't have a program, I have diapers, wipes, clothes, shoes. People donate me brand new stuff. I got a big old taco stand. I cook tacos on the curb. I talk to the community. I play Frankie Beverly and Maze. They walk by, they dance, they're in their element. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this little stuff like that. I noticed that it allows people to be free. People are we just stuck in this little bitty bubble. It's like the identity. Everybody's in an identity crisis, trying to figure out who they are. And now more than ever, we got social media. You come on Facebook, you can get anxiety. You can tap into depression, anxiety, and everything just by tapping in, because you see everybody's lives being exposed allegedly. And then you say you try. That's my baby in the background screaming. Y'all, I'm sorry. Allegedly, and then you tap into everybody's life that you think it is, and it's like, I'm not that great, I'm not that good. You know what I'm saying? When the reality is like, you are that great, you are that good. So I even tell people, be mindful when you tap in on social media,
Uh-oh.
because it's so many different elements.
You know what? It definitely is, and you hit on so much about like unpeeling those layers, because the way we were brought up and how we carry that on to our children. I was just thinking about that when you were talking about that, because one, starting back with the attachment, like what we get from our parents, whether it's our mom, dad, or both people in the house, we got to have that attachment. And more than likely, we didn't have that attachment. One, they may not have known how to attach, and
Right.
two, they may have been working. But that also plays into us having our relationships. And just like you were saying, and honestly, I'm like at a place now, I need to apologize to my children, because when they would try to express themselves, shut up, don't talk
Right.
while I'm talking, keep it to yourself, don't disrespect me, and they didn't have that freedom to express themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a key point in relationships, whether it's family relationships or intimate relationships. And if we stifle it back then, if they afraid to communicate or don't want to communicate their feelings, that's how they can end up in unhealthy relationships.
It is. That is it. And a lot of things what we have to realize is our children are not our children. They don't belong to us. They belong to God. They are an assignment that God has given us. So if you don't
Yes,
allow those assignments to express themselves and exercise those muscles and those thoughts to be able to communicate and to be relate and to express their feelings and their thoughts, it's like you don't want to be that kid that never your mom never let you talk. So now you are an adult and you're so passive. You're on your job. You don't let the people know that you're uncomfortable. You just do the whole job uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You don't say anything because you've been shut down for so long as a kid. You're just glad to get a job and be out away from your mom. So you just be quiet. Then you go home
exactly.
and you know what I'm saying, and everything is just miserable. People don't have, I think when you express you allow your kids to express themselves at a year earlier age, that's when they begin to learn how to tap into purpose.
Mm.
They don't wait till 25 to say, you know what, I didn't know I had a purpose in life.
Mhm.
Wait till you be 45, 50 years. I didn't know I had a purpose in life. I have an 8-year old. What do you want to do?
Hmm.
Let me know what you want to do. And guess what? If you don't want to do that now, you got time to change your mind. Like right now, my 12-year-old and my 15-year-old, we sit here for like maybe 45 minutes sometimes and we read about credit, business credit, all this kind of stuff. Because I feel like if I would have had a little bit more direction on just the basic stuff that you try to figure out when you get 20 after you to mess the credit up and you realize you got to pay them folks back. You know what I'm saying? You would have had that conversation at 10, 8 years old when they're asking for money. So as soon as the age they feel like they can ask you for some money, that's when we need to start talking about money. Because guess what? I can give you this money, but I need to let you know where this money came from and how I got
Exactly.
this money. And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm learning. Like even I went to a conference in Houston a couple of years ago, and the lady asked me what was my profit plan, and I was like, "Ooh, she's speaking Spanish." I did not understand. I was like, "She must have switched it up on me real quick," because I didn't know what that was. You know, so it's like you don't want your kids to be 18, 19, 25, and they're learning how to deal with money. So all that is in a part of relationships with family because guess what? The cycle repeat itself.
It
Most
does.
likely, if your mama's in debt, you're gonna be in debt. And like me, here I am. I think my light came on when I was about 32 years old.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I was
saying?
around that too.
Yeah, this came
Yep.
on. It's like, hey, you know what? I've been thinking the wrong things. So now that I have the younger kids and there's so many different age groups in my house, but they're all kind of learning about the same thing just on levels. But that's a part of building family. That's a family relationship when we talk about money, when we talk
Hmm.
about finances, when we talk about feelings, when we talk about thoughts. That's how you build family relationships because you can't just get a kid dressed and make him look decent, take him get a haircut and tell him to wipe off his shoes and think you raising a kid.
That's true.
You
And that also
better
adds.
him being a kid than
Mhm.
looking cute and looking like you're doing the bare minimum of what you're supposed to already do to be a parent and to raise kids and to establish family relationship.
And all of that, everyone, it goes up into their relationships, their healthy relationships they have, the communication,
Yeah,
being able to express themselves, being confident with what they do, being knowledgeable. That makes it a better situation for them in these relationships
yeah,
too.
yeah. Because guess what? One day they're gonna grow up
Mm.
and they're gonna get out in the real world and somebody gonna tell them something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my kids, right? Even right now, Mariah, Mariah, she does the taco stand with me. She's serving food. She doing all these different things. It's like, and they always like that one right there. She doing. You ain't selling none of my kids no fried ice cream. That's what you're not going to. There's not, and it's like, and I always even tell them like it's if an adult asks you a question about me, I need you to put them in a place and remind them that you are a child, and anything that they need to know about your mama, ask your mama. It's about
Exactly.
relation. This is how you build, and this is how it starts. We start family by family because taking community by community, block by block, it sound good, but it's not doable because I'm not at everybody's house. And you got to understand, it's like what I'm teaching my kids, the neighbor might not be teaching her kids. So I have to, and the sad part about the world we live in is like if we all don't get a hold on our relationships with our kids, it's like it's sad being a mother of 5 sons, and I had this thought one day that just brought tears to my eyes. I said, "What if I do everything that I'm supposed to do as a mother to raise my children, to raise my sons more than the girls?" Because I think us as Black women and mothers of sons, we think about them a little bit more than we think about the daughters. I don't know about you guys, but I do because I see how society treats Black men. And I said, "Hey, I'm doing all this to try to help raise productive citizens of society, right? To have them not be incarcerated and go through all those extra steps. And What if it's my neighbor, you know what I'm saying, who doesn't pay attention or who's not loving on her child enough? And he sees my son grow up and have all these endeavors in life, growing and have a job and this and this. And this person has the ability to take something from my son or to take my son's life. I think about that kind of stuff all day. That's why my mission is to whatever I can give to people is to give them the whole experience, not give them bits and pieces. That's why in the beginning my organization was Divine Sisterhood. And you can see how that can just be so narrow minded. And I just thought progressive family solutions, because everything we do is progressive, it's gradual. It's not big pieces. And my thing is like we gotta have some kind of solution. And the solution is basically get people what they need so they can grow. So I said, if I'm going to help people, I'm going to help people. So not only do I want to help you close your DCFS case, I want to help you find housing. A lot of our families, a lot of our black families, we losing our kids because we don't have housing. We don't have anywhere to live, especially in California. If you like me, you got 7 kids, you need a 4 or 5 bedroom house. That's going to easily hit you about $3,000. So imagine if you don't have a job. Imagine if you're living on AFDC. Where are you going to go? So 9 times out of 10, you and your kids are going to be in a compromised situation where y'all from pillar to post, living with somebody, either at a shelter. My whole thing is the solution is to give you guys the tools. Like if you don't have any job skills, I don't want to help people find jobs. I want to help people find careers. So I reached out to the unions. Say, okay, you have this man that has his family and he wants to provide for his family, but he has no education. So I said, okay, when I even we have a security company. We haven't done anything since COVID, but a lot of the guys who come to get jobs, guess what? They've been incarcerated, so they got a record. But the sad part about what I've learned and I've noticed through the whole thing, they can't get through half of the application. Because why? They can't read. So that's the number one thing that I made sure I had a literacy. I need all grown men and grown women to be in a reading class. Go back to the basics, because if you can't do the application here, that's just a basic application. I know you can't do the application at the union. And out here they have the oil refineries. You got to go through OSHA and all, like 4 or 5 different programs. So it's like we setting you up to go out there and take something that don't belong to you, and you be back in the same situation. These women, they get their kids go to the foster system, and then they out here just drifting around. They don't have no stable home placement. So I'm in the process right now of trying to purchase a 10 bedroom house, and I want 2 families in each house to be able to stay there for 2 years. And in 2 years, you know what I'm saying? You should definitely have a situation where you help yourself. Because I don't think 6 months is enough time, or even a year. Because when you thinking of talking about people and you talking about relationships and shit in the mindset, you know what I'm saying? It's like you really have to reteach these people all over again. Because that's basically what I had to learn how to do for myself. Shift my mindset. And I feel like, okay, if I'm gonna help these people keep their kids in their house or get their kids back in their house, I said, what do I need? So I know that first of all, you gotta have more than 3 days worth of food. You gotta have clean clothes. You gotta have all these. So when they come to their anger management class, I say bring the clothes. So if the class is 2 hours, you got your clothes are gonna get washed and folded and handed to you. So I cut out the excuses. Oh, I don't want nobody. I hear it all. I don't want nobody in my business. I get it. I don't want nobody in my business either. When you on this side, you do your program. Come over there. We got somebody that's watching the kids. There and nobody in your business. And you got clean clothes. And if you need food, take food from the food pantry. And if you need some housing, if I don't have nowhere for you to stay, I will find you somewhere to stay. Because they have a lot of different places that you wouldn't even know that's in these cities that's tucked away for these women and their kids can stay for a whole year, and they save your money for you and they help you do training. So it's a lot. I talk to women all the time and I say, you know what? I'm not trying to be funny, but you can cut the shit with me. You ain't. Let me explain something. You're not fooling me. You fooling yourself. If you have a drug addiction and you have a problem, just be honest and let's move it forward. Because I felt it when you walked in. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to try to Put no makeup over nothing. Just come as you are, because my objective is to try to help you so you can be able to be sufficient and take your kids home, and then try to redevelop a relationship and establish a relationship with your family. Because too many times I get a lot of women, I get a lot of families, and they try to act like it's not what it is. It's like, let me explain something to you. You know what I'm saying? My mom is a recovering addict. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is to be in the dark, to have some candles. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is to be so hungry as a kid. I done sold candle wax to a crackhead on several times to go get some top ramen and some $2 pies for me and my siblings when I was young. I know what it is because I've been there, I've done that. So you don't have to come in this place and feel like you can't be honest with me, because the spirit is already going to tell you. The
Anyway,
program isn't for everybody, but for those who want help, who want to get their babies back in the house, it's here. But if you don't want it, I'm not gonna be mean to you, but I'm gonna ask you to move to the left so I can talk to old girl behind you, because she came here for a reason, and you just, you ain't figured it out yet.
see, I
Because I don't,
like
I don't, I
that.
can't babysit people.
Yes, I like that. So I'm getting ready to throw three words at you that can go for family relationships or individual relationships. And I want you to seal it up because it's almost time for you to go
Okay.
under the scope. So, communication,
Communication.
compassion,
Okay.
and compromise. Those three to make healthy relationships.
Communication is a must. Say it even if it hurts. Say it, express it, let it out, put it in the atmosphere. Um, what was the other one? Compassion.
Compassion. Yes.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. It's hard to live life without compassion, because everybody's been through so much, and it's honest. It's never gonna be surface. You can never really see the deep rooted hurt and the effects that people are going through. People dress up hurt really well. So be compassionate of others. You don't even know if your kind gesture, your hello, your hi, your goodbye, or how are you feeling, are you hungry, just those basic things right there can change the situation. um yeah, what was your next one?
Compromise.
Compromise. Minimum. Compromise to a minimum. Use your intuition, because a lot of times we compromise, and my whole thing is, don't put yourself in a position where you're gonna hurt yourself trying to appease people, friends, family, or an other. Limit the compromising. Limit it, because people will take advantage of you. If they see they can take advantage of you in any kind of way, they will. So sometimes it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, but use that intuition, that small voice. Listen to it, because I'm pretty sure all of us been through some situations where you kind of compromise and say, I shouldn't do this. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't do it because the last time. Then you get yourself in a situation like, man, I should have listened to my first mind. We
Hmm.
have to learn how to trust our intuition, and because God gave it to us for a reason. And then we always say, I should have listened to my first mind. Man, I knew they was gonna do that. It's like, you already knew that. But that's us as a people. I think it's us more than anybody as an African people. We so forgiving, we compromise in every situation. But sometimes you gotta say no, hell to the no. All you gotta do is get that one song that old man saying, hell no, to the no, no. Just get that on your answer receiving service, and you know when they're gonna call, you just play that for them, because you already know what they coming with. So
Yeah.
compromise is something that don't do too much compromising. Use your intuition and just go out the floor and be okay with that, because sometimes we beat ourselves up when we try to compromise with people. I'm like, I could have, but you already know why you don't want to. So don't compromise, so you don't have no regret. So I think compromise is cool, but you gotta use it to a minimum.
I
You gotta
cut
use
my
it to a minimum.
whole mic off to laugh at what you said. Put that on your answer machine. So I had to cut it off and laugh at that.
Yes.
But so this is awesome. So where can we find you on like social media websites, and tell them what you have coming?
Okay, well, you guys, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram under Roshanda Casteel 20. I'm on Facebook under just Roshanda. My Facebook page is Progressive Family Solutions. I think it may still be under Divine Sisterhood, because I have somebody that's doing the rebranding thing for me. Um, I do radio. I love radio, so I'm on Sprinkers, iHeartRadio. Everything is under Soul Divine Radio. Um, and my website is progressivefamilysolutions.org. And that's where you can find me. You can find me. People don't give out their phone numbers that often, but I answer phone calls. You know why? Because I ain't got to that level where I can't answer nobody's phone calls. People always want to talk. Somebody has something that they want to express. You want to listen to that person. And a lot of times they can't talk to friends or family, so they need somebody that's not going to judge them because I don't really know the whole situation, but give them some advice. So you can call me on the phone. My number is 562-333-1432, and I'm reachable. So you can just DM me on Facebook. I'm here. I'm here. I'm available and just looking to share what I have to other people who need what I got. I'm not assigned to everybody, so everybody don't need me. But for those people who need some help, they're in the Los Angeles area. Our location's right here in Compton. We're at 1809 North Wilmington Avenue, and I'm there. I'm available. We're gonna start opening up the doors on Saturdays for 24 hours because a lot of times people just need to get away. They need to talk. So a lot of people that have drug addictions, they're on the verge of relapsing. So it's like, come in, let's have some coffee, let's laugh, let's watch a movie, and I just think little stuff like that will definitely help our people. We need to know we need to know that other people care about us, even if it's not our immediate family.
That's true. Roshanda, she came here dropping some bomb.coms. I'm excited about it.
Thank you. Nice of you
Thank
guys
you.
to have me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We getting ready to take you under the scope now, so we
Okay.
can open it up because the
Yes.
chat's blowing up. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
and I just want to just seal it and just say that talking about that family relationship is huge because it goes into your individual relationships. And
Yes.
some of the thing and most of the things that you talked about, we see how that can impact and that can be barriers
Yeah.
to relationships, whether it's individual and family. And so even when you look on the website, you look it up, it's so focused on intimate relationships, not saying that those relationships aren't important, but let me tell you something. Families, sometimes we think we have to just deal with them because they're blood and everything else. We can put in the same stops that we do in
Yeah.
intimate relationships as well. So, Rashanda, she is ready to go under the scope. I'll start with information in the chat, and I see we have a hand raised. I always got to do this. I
Okay.
think I got it the right way. Rashanda's going under the scope. So I'll start in the chat and then Stacey, I'll work my way back to you.
Mhm.
So, Rashanda, some of the comments was that this is powerful. And when you said it was about children expressing themselves, allow your children to express themselves. So here's the first question, and then Stacy's next, and then I have Kayla. So
Okay.
the first question, Rashanda, is what is the best way to encourage a parent whose children were removed from their home and placed into foster care?
The best advice I could say to a parent in that situation is take this time to focus on you. Take this time to focus on you because it is what it is. They're not in the home for whatever what reason. Because some people think that it's something that they did bad, and some people look at it in a negative way, like I got my kids taken away from me. Sometimes it can be a blessing and a curse, because sometimes I think a lot of these women that I deal with, when they get the kids taken from their household, they worried about the kids, or my kids are in a dangerous situation, I don't know what's going on. And my whole thing is like, you know what, you got to break. You got to break to kind of like step away from your reality and kind of go figure out where it went wrong, and you can come back, because a lot of times they give you your kids back. So you got to focus on you. Focus on if there's a recovery situation, if it's a homeless situation. Sometimes it don't have anything to do about drugs. It's just an argument, or something, somebody said something and the neighbors called the police. And it depends on what spirits show up at your house. Yeah, but take that time to focus on you. Figure out what do you need to do for yourself to make the next best move for your family. Because right now The kids are taken care of. They're somewhere where, pray to God that they being taken care of and not being exposed to something different. But just take care of you right now. Focus on you. Do those classes. Do those classes. Don't think I don't go back to court into 6 months or I don't go back to court into 3 months. I got time. I got time because they want to wait to the last minute. And they was like, well, I need a parenting class. You think you can sign this paper? You know what I'm saying? You think I can give you a couple $100? You can sign this paper? No, you're gonna sit with me. You gonna sit with, I'm gonna take your $100 and you gonna sit with me. Because you're not learning anything. If you're not learning anything. The whole point for you to understand is you didn't get here by accident. Several things occurred over a period of time that got you here. So sit down, have a seat, relax, and just start unfolding stuff. But you gotta be willing to get naked. See, a lot of people don't want to get naked. They don't want to let it all out. They don't. They want to tell they side of the story. And if you gotta either if you right or you wrong, you gotta have some accountability. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done that. I need to learn self control. Then you can start to grow. Then you can get your kids back. But until you figure out what you need to do for yourself, now that the kids are not in the house, they ain't in your space. They not messing with your stuff. You ain't got to get nobody ready for school. You know what I'm saying? All these excuses and all these life pressures that we have at home with our kids, you don't got to worry about that. You footloose and fancy free to do the best next thing for yourself.
And focus on you.
Focus
Thanks.
on you.
All right, Stacy, you're next, and then Kayla, you're next.
Okay, hello. I'm so inspired. This is confirmation for me. I actually had just reopened or restarted a single mom zone for single parent families.
Mhm.
And I'm working with families too, but I didn't really know what direction to go. I was kind of thinking about helping them in emergent situations. And I had actually written this right here. I said the purpose is to inspire relationships. I'm confirmed by what you're speaking about. So I actually I was a single parent family for a while and went through a whole lot of ups and downs in my life. So I want to go back and help inspire others to come out of it as well. But I wanted to ask if you had reached out to any major players like Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube or somebody.
You know what? I had a conversation with somebody last night that's like a brother to Snoop Dogg. I have access to a lot of these people, and I don't utilize them because I really feel like I could do it. I feel like let me do it. Let me get my groove, and when if you come along the way, you just come along the way. But I don't feel like I feel like what I have to offer is a no brainer. You know what I'm saying? It's a no brainer. I told somebody one time, I said, if you want to talk to anybody, I want to talk to anybody, have Tyrese call me. You know what I'm saying? Have Tyrese crying self call me because there's ways that you can go about doing stuff. I have
Okay.
not tried to get any kind of celebrity influences. People tell me that all the time. Well, you need help, you need help. I said, I know I need help, but my whole thing, what I need you to do since you know I need help, you make
Yes,
the
ma'am.
relationship, you make the connection.
Okay, well, I'll do what I can do then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People,
All
people,
right.
people tell you, and this is what you got. This is what helped me. What I have to learn too is the people that you think gonna support you, they ain't even gonna like your post. But the right people that need what you got, they gonna DM you. They gonna find out your phone number, and they gonna say, "Hey, I heard what you said. I seen what you post. Can you help me?" And I get a lot of those. Nobody don't. I got the next ticket into heaven. Ain't nobody gonna like that post. Say, girl, how can I get that ticket? They gonna DM you. They gonna be in your inbox and saying, they gonna ask you that. That's what they do. So I don't really think that where I am right now, I need to associate what I'm doing on a celebrity thing because I feel like I'm not discovered yet, but I already know the plans that God have for me in my life. And I got a name for myself, which is Roshanda Casteel. And that alone, I feel and I know that's going to open up the right doors for the right people with the right reason. So that's where
Okay.
I am with that. Because I feel like I'm just as big a celebrity as Snoop Dogg or anybody else. I represent the Long Beach city as well. But my whole thing is I'm
Okay.
representing and I got something to say.
Amen.
I got
Okay.
something to say, and I'm helping people in a real way. If
Yeah,
you want
you
to
are.
help, be effective and really help where they need help. It's like because y'all, but this is my whole thing. If I was to ever talk to Snoop Dogg, and I would just let him know that, well, hey, they out there with their gangster rap, but the women that's on drugs and the men that's out here incarcerated, they need to talk to me. Give all your homeboys and they baby mama and them my number.
Okay.
Because guess what? They incarcerated. They gonna come out. They gonna need somewhere to stay. They gonna need somewhere to live. They need to get their kids back. That's
Right.
that's that's you know what I'm saying. So that's on that level. But other than that, I'm good.
Okay.
I
Awesome.
appreciate it, but I don't feel like I have to make those connections. I believe
Amen.
that everything is seasonal. So in that due season, everything it'll flourish.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
all right.
Awesome. All right, Kayla, you're next and in
Hey,
choice.
Kayla.
Hi. Okay, I have three questions. So the first one is pretty short. I'm just interested to see what is the ratio of single mothers to single fathers who are under DCS supervision.
I don't have the actual numbers. Just know that it's more than 40% of us is black families. It's more.
Okay.
It's more of us than them. Just like the prison population, it's the same dope game.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same. No matter which way you slice it, we always gonna get the smaller piece of the pie.
Right.
No
I
matter
was
like even you
interested.
can even take example the young gymnast right now. She got her own gym moves and all this stuff that's her own that God gave her. You know what I'm saying? You got this is what we this is we're targeted.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
targeted no matter what. Our greatness, our excellence, it's oozing through our pores and they can't stand it. So if they can
Right.
break up the families, they can keep our men incarcerated, they can keep our women on this. I'm strong, black woman, independent, self-sufficient. I don't need no man. Lie. Black women stop saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lie from the pit of the hell. You wasn't designed to be self-sufficient and independent. You were a rib. You need to accommodate somebody. He can't get there without you. What are you doing? It's okay to be independent at that moment, but know that you can't do everything by yourself. That's why God created us like that. So it's like just shift that mindset. And as far as like you can look at any situation in life that we go through, our incarceration, our foster family rate. Why they want to label our kids ADHD? No, he ain't. His ass just need to sit down. He need to get popped. Now at the end of the day, that's child abuse. But how is it child abuse when you've been beating us for over 500 years? You've been feeding the babies to crocodiles. So why that's child abuse. So we're gonna talk about it. Talk about it. So a lot of families who are in DCFS, they intimidated. So my whole thing is don't be intimidated. Go up in there and represent yourself very well. Go up and state facts. Don't say nothing else if it ain't a fact. And then the first thing you want to do is say, okay, I need help. Put your money where your mouth is because guess what? When you tell them that you need help, they gotta help you. They gotta help you. So my whole thing is, you want to help me, you really gotta help me, and tell them what you need. Tell them you need a washer, you need a dryer, you need a couch, you need all these things. Um, tell them what you need because they will definitely help you. But if you don't say nothing because you're afraid that they're gonna use it against you, that's fine. Y'all in my house because you know what I'm saying. You're using that against me anyway. So get what you can get. Milk them. I tell the ladies, if you need something, tell them you need a call those. Don't tell them you didn't need to call them back and say, you thought about it and you need some stuff. You need some Target gift cards. You need some socks. Let me tell you, when you got children, there's a sock monster. You can never find no matching socks. It's always you need underwear, you need toiletries, you need everything. So if they're gonna give it to you, you might as well get it and then get some more. Be like, you got some more? Because guess what? They're gonna take your child. They're gonna take your child and we'll let them live with somebody else. They're going to pay these people. But then here it is. If you pay me, you give me what I need so I can be self-sufficient. You don't have to take my child. They're going to take my child because I can't afford to pay rent. Then you're not going to give me that. You're not going to give me any kind of job training. You see, I have all these issues. You telling me what I don't have. I'm not sufficient enough to take care of my kids, but then you still don't help me. So whatever they offering, you take it. Even if you got a closet full of toilet paper, you take whatever they bringing to you. Because they already know they're in the wrong. That's why they're trying to help you. But they're not asking, you're not asking the right questions. They're not helping you. And you know what I'm saying? I need a job. I need a career. No, I need some training. I need some skills. They ain't gonna teach you that. But again, my whole thing is the minute that case closed, all them coming to your house, writing on a thing and trying to help you put everything, that goes out the door. They don't call you no more.
Mm-hmm.
So you got court the next 60 days. You better call them in them 60 days and tell them you need everything under the sun. Because the minute they dismiss your case, they're not gonna talk to you no more. You're not gonna hear from them people no more. And that's what I'm telling people. Like, you better get it. You better milk that cow because it's a cow. Because it'll take your kids. It'll mess your whole life upside down, and you don't have nothing because you and your feelings. You intimidated. Don't be intimidated. They criminals. They criminals. I advocate for the people, not for the court. There's nothing just about the justice system when it comes to us.
I agree. I agree. So thank you for that. I was just interested because there's a lot of Black single mothers, including myself, who have had multiple run-ins with DCS. So I was just curious if the numbers were the same between Black single mothers and Black single fathers.
Well, of course, there's more Black single mothers because why? They half of our men are incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, of course, there's a lot more single mothers than there are Black men because they're looking for a reason to make money off of us one way or another. So it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we can lock up his daddy and get some money. We can take the kids and slap a label on them and get some money. You know what I'm saying? And we can get the mama a couple dollars and she gonna sell out the daddy and everybody for a piece of money. That's how they look at us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they rip us apart. So that's when you have to go back and be honest with your kids and express to them a whole lot of stuff because if you don't tell your kids the truth, you don't want the somebody in DCF to tell you them something because they lie to the kids. Trust me, they
Mm-hmm.
lie to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
try to bribe the kids. My 17-year-old son told me all about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
They
it's
try
true.
to lie to you. They try to bribe you. They tell you when you turn 18, we're gonna get you a place and all this. I'm like, it's a system. It's a matrix. They just waiting for you to do something crazy so they can label. They already trying to label you, and they probably somewhere right now in Tennessee somewhere, and somewhere building up another prison, waiting for you to do something crazy. So you have to be honest. You got to be open and honest with your kids. Don't say, "Oh, he's too young. He doesn't need to know about that." But he needs to know about it. He needs to know about it so he can be aware and he can say, hey, that's what she was talking about. When those situations come up, that's what she was talking about. Don't be afraid to talk about any kind of conversation with your kids. And I don't believe they're too young. They don't understand. Let me tell you, this internet out here is real. These kids, my baby is 9 months old. She know how to go to YouTube. How I don't know. She can't talk, but she can hear. You know what I'm saying? So how does a 9-month-old baby go to YouTube on your phone? I barely have enough time to remember my URLs with my passwords and stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So our kids know if we don't teach them, somebody gonna teach them. So it's like you gotta plant those seeds before somebody else does and give them wrong information. Because they will. Because when I was 10 years old, my mom said, I want to let you know something. I got a drug problem. And she said, before you get outside and any of your little friends tell you your mama smoke crack, I want you to know first. And what did I do? One day it was raining. I knew my mom had a drug problem. It was raining. And I seen a pamphlet on the floor. It said Lily of the Valley. It was a corner church. It was wet. But I said, maybe if I show my mom this pamphlet, if we can start going to church and she can stop doing drugs. And that's kind of like how it happened. I put it on the counter. The next morning it was dry. I came back in the kitchen. It was on the magnet on the refrigerator door. And my mom said, "Y'all go get y'all clothes. We going to church tomorrow." Just like that. So you want to make sure, just be honest with your kids. Just because can't nobody come back and tell me my mom was a crackhead. I'm saying she wasn't a crackhead like that, but but still, that's her delivery. I don't want nobody to come tell you these things, and I respect her for her honesty. I always respected her to say, let us express ourselves, because that's how I think why I'm so vocal. Like, if I feel like, if I can say it to my mama, I can say it to you. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you welcome.
Thank you.
Why are you laughing, Kim?
Can't hear you, Kim.
We can't hear you.
My bad, y'all.
Okay.
I'm sitting over here playing. Okay, here we go. I'm here. I was just laughing and didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kayla's my daughter. That's why I was laughing. Her laugh just makes me laugh. It's so contagious.
Okay.
All
This
right.
like I need a media.
Uh, all right.
Uh,
Did you call me?
Yes.
Hi, Roshanda. How are
Hi,
you?
ma'am. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. So I love what you were saying about the kids and money. And just so you know, my grandson at 9 years old, Carmelo,
Okay.
I have to laugh because it cracks me up. He's like, Nani, I need this. And I need what? And he goes on the internet and he's looking at stuff. He done already researched it. He already know how much it
Yes.
costs. And he'll say, this is on sale.
Yes. Yes.
So he was already prepared. So if I said this costs too much, or he'll ask me, does this cost a lot of money?
Mm-hmm.
And just like when he asked for the Nintendo Switch, he still doesn't have it today because I'm not paying for the Nintendo Switch. I haven't gotten to there yet.
But this what you can do.
But anyway, so I wanted to ask
Uh-huh.
on the relationships with women that were incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
and once they come out, what is their relationships like? Do they have healthy relationships or unhealthy relationships? Because I'm working with a nonprofit for women that have been incarcerated and to help them once they get out.
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to work with a lot of women who are getting out of incarcerated. One of my good friends, she was incarcerated for 8 years, so she kind of helps me in that area. I haven't dealt with anybody yet that's coming out, but I've dealt with a lot of women who've been in the prison system and who have gotten their children back, and it's bittersweet because she was in prison for 8 years and she has 3 children and she don't talk to her daughter. Her daughter don't want to talk to her. She has 2 boys, and the relationship is kind of shaky. They're respectful, but everything is just distant. So I think it's kind of like different for each relationship because there's probably a lot that I don't know really about the story or the situation. But for whatever reason, these kids are very distant, and it's like a higher by kind of thing. So it's not like a reunification. Let's get together. Let's start all over. Let's try. So I just think that each individual family is just different because that's James telling me I ain't got no. He out the door talking to me because I'm on the phone. But yeah, each individual family is just different. Everybody is different. So I really can't answer on that. The women coming out of incarceration.
And then what was the next one? My husband, I hear he's over there cooking, so I'm trying
Okay.
to like so forgive me. The next one is, have you ran across mothers that have lost their rights to their children, and have they ever been able to get their children back or have their rights restored?
No. Once in this system, when they gone, they gone. But they give you so much time to. So how the system is worked, it goes in like sections. You have up to like 18 months from like the start to the finish. In them 18 months, they give you some things that you need to do and you need to take care of in that period of time. And it's like if you have women and people who come at the last minute and say, hey, I don't have this or I don't have that in this rush and I got to go back to court in 2 weeks and I haven't did a domestic violence class or nothing. It's like I really can't help you because You had 18 months. And all the court is asking you to do is a 12-week parenting class. So my whole thing is this is a measure of how bad do you really want it?
Well,
How
I'm
bad do you really want to keep your kids?
right. We have guardianship of our grandson. He's
Okay.
16. And believe you me, I'm looking for everything. Like you said, I'm going to go get it because somebody else is doing it. I'm
Yeah,
going to go get it too.
yeah,
So wherever we need assistance, I'm researching and looking whatever help we can get. I'm using the system just like anyone else. We don't like need it, but if I need it and it's going to benefit him, then it's going to be done
yeah,
regardless. So I think that when it comes to unhealthy relationship, it's just not about family. It's about association
yeah,
with friends and just what personal relationship, male, female
yeah.
relationships. So if you find yourself, because I know for me, at once upon a time in my life, I was just looking because I was hurting deep.
Yeah.
So you're just looking for love in all the wrong places. Is that considered like an unhealthy relationship or anything like that?
Um, like you said, looking for love in all the wrong places. Like, first of all, you already know it's the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
got to ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I here? It's like I know nobody want to be by themselves. I get. I got in a situation like that too. Once I got divorced, my mom told me the way you get over one man is get you another man, and I basically feel like I jumped out of the frying pan into the crematory and just bursted into the ashes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh my goodness. But my whole thing, what I did to myself is I got a piece of paper and I wrote down what do I like about myself and what I don't like about myself and then ask the reason why. And it's like a lot of times, like even right now, it's like I've gained like maybe 25 pounds since I had
right,
my baby.
right. I'm
And it's
with
like
you.
I don't do a lot of Facebook Live because I got so self conscious, like, oh my face is fat and all these different kind of things. And I think we get in those relationships because of where we are about how we feel about ourselves, where we are mentally, where we are in our childhood trauma, who told us that, who put those thoughts in your head, you know what I'm saying? What makes you feel like you're not worthy of getting what you deserve? And those are some situations where you can utilize compromise. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna meet another wounded, injured deer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and well, relationships with men is like they have their past, so some of them are wounded and injured too. So you can either get into something where you're healing and they're healing, and it's just something you take slow, and you guys got to ask people about their trauma. I think when you start dating in relationships, yeah, we ask the most questions. We ask the stuff that don't even matter. Oh, do you
Bye-bye.
have any children? Oh, all this kind of stuff. Like, have you ever been diagnosed with bipolar?
Yeah,
Is mental
right.
health running your family? You know what I'm saying? What was your father's work history? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? What was your mother's work history? That can let you know if he's been used to being holding a job, he's been introduced to it. You know, those are the kind of questions we need to find out what he like and what you don't like. But then
mm,
you be in a relationship next thing you know, 10 years from now, like, I don't even like that. You ain't been liking it for 10 years. Let a person know from jump what you don't like.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't like it, I don't like it. Then you won't force it to fit. But once you them, what people always say, I put all my time and my energy. It's like if you would have asked the questions in the beginning, you wouldn't even put your time and your energy because you already know he don't have no ambition, he don't have no goals. You know, you and this ain't build a man. This ain't Bob's Build a Bear. Who got that kind of time when we broken people? We got. I'm trying to build me.
Right. And we
Go to
are both of
Bob's
us
Build
broken.
a Man. I tell people all the time, I do not want to be bothered with the possibility man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He don't got no job, but I think it's something so special about me that he gonna come in my life, girl.
Come
He
on.
gonna change. He gonna get a job. We gonna start a business. Like, what's the possibilities? He's 75 years old,
Uh,
65 years old. Now he trying to get started. He want to change his life. Like, boy, you about to go pick out a casket if you anything. How you gonna change your life? So we gotta be honest with ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
think about your strengths and your weaknesses inside of you, and then it's like even me, I have to do myself like, what is it that I like about myself? Why do I accept that? Why? You know what I'm saying? I grew up getting called bees and hoes and all that kind of stuff, but I never been called that by a man. Why? Because I know I didn't like that.
Right.
I don't like domestic violence. I don't like yelling and screaming. My relationship ain't perfect, but I know when I feel like it's getting to the point where I feel like it's a possibility that I can be disrespectful, because for me it's like once I disrespect you, there ain't no going back. There ain't no trying to patch it back up.
Right.
Baby, I love you. Let's go on a retreat. No. So what I do to protect myself and stuff that comes out of me, I just walk away. I be quiet. I be quiet.
So you just need to take some time for self-healing. Now I'm married. I'll be married 10 years this year.
Congratulations.
And I met my husband here in Arizona, and he's been a blessing. The blessing, the beat up blessing, the throwdown blessing, and all of that.
Yeah.
But what?
No, that's James. We talking about families, and he at the door talking about you ain't about to not have no family. You know, he's a big old baby. Yeah. He talking about we your family on the other side of the door. I'm like, really?
Yeah. But no, I didn't think about that for doing that time frame, because you have to take a lot of healing, and you got to think about it, and then think about what kind of trauma I could have been in, what kind of trauma he could have been in, or what was he going through, and you just doing these things. That's just, that is something. And you know what? I'll be able to help that with the ladies that I'll be working with. Yeah. So that's a blessing right there. Thank you very much.
We all got some stuff. I don't care what kind of foundation you put on. We can't cover up everything. We just can't cover up there. Sometimes you don't need to cover up. Just expose it. You just
Yes.
let it go. And it's like a lot of times we try to just act like everything is okay. It's like you gotta think about it. It's like what degree was the injury? You know what I'm saying? You can't put a band-aid on a stab wound.
No.
And a lot of times we try to put a band-aid around the stab wound and wipe it around where you can't see the blood. But you know what I'm saying? But it's a big old hole there. And all different situations take time. Everything is gonna take a lot of time for that wound to heal. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna heal the same way in the same time frame as a surface scratch. And that's how we gotta look at ourselves and our relationship. It takes time to see that, hey, I ain't as good as I thought I was. I ain't perfect. I'm not the perfect parent. I'm not none of that. But I feel like as long as you're aware, and see, a lot of people don't want to be aware. Because once you become aware of some stuff, then it makes you kind of accountable. So a lot of people walk around acting like they don't know because they don't want to be accountable, because it's like, you need to change. But all of us got some areas where we can improve in each and every day. Even myself, I try to ask like, how can I improve? Because being a mother of 7 kids and the main one is James. He the biggest one. And how do I really give all this time and this love and this energy to all these people? You know what I'm saying? Equally. It's like it's hit and miss every day. And then try to remind myself, oh, a lot of people say you need self-care. Like, oh, what is that? That's like a foreign word or something. But I'm learning how to take a day. Like I take every other Monday off, where I just go to the beach, sit down. I'm trying to tap into yoga and different things like that. I'm just learning how to love myself, so I can be a better mother. I can be a better person to people. And it all goes back to us. We always have these thoughts about how people perceive us. And I really think that's how we feel about ourselves. That's why we think, oh, she don't like me. She got an attitude. All this kind of stuff. There's hate. I don't think there's no such thing as no hater. You know what I'm saying? People always say, I got all these haters. But I don't really think it's just haters. I just think that's how you feel about yourself. And I had to learn that about myself. So it's no haters. It's you and God. God gave it to you. Nobody can't take it from you. So we just gotta learn how to exercise those relationships with ourselves. Because sometimes our relationship self muscle is weak. We can build everybody up, and then we hurting inside and everything. That's like, even me. It's like I can't go out here and try to save the whole wide world, and then I have some kids that grew up and say, "You never spent any time with us. You never asked us, or you never let us say nothing. You always told us to be quiet." I don't want that to be the case.
Exactly. I like that. Anyone else?
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Anyone else? Or we're about to wrap it up. If not,
Well, thank you guys so
go.
much. I appreciate everybody.
And Roshanda, I want you to tell them about your radio show that's coming.
Oh yes, you
One
guys.
more thing, right quick. One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, last night I'm on the phone with my homegirl, just enjoying my conversation. I click over to the other line, and it's my sister.
Okay.
Now she don't call me unless she wanted something. And I sat there and I said she wants something. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that my sister wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the phone with her. I look, I merged my homegirl in the call. So we all was talking. Next thing you know, my sister goes, "Oh, I gotta go now." It was a different voice in the room.
Yeah.
So was that's unhealthy, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. That's when you should have hit that song. Hell no. To the no. You should have just put her straight there. Your intuition and your spirit already told you what it was about, because my whole thing, if you call me and it's that important, say what you gotta say.
She was just being wrong. That's all.
Yeah,
Just
that's
taking up
and
time and
that's the bad part about siblings and immediate family. They do us dirty, but
just using me.
it's all But she
Just
can't use you and
using me.
let you let her.
Uh-oh.
I
That's,
did.
And her sister listening too, so that's good.
yeah, your sister can't use you unless you become available.
I just had to throw that out there, throw out there. She's being real quiet right now too.
It's all good. It's
You
all
don't
good.
hear?
Because my thing about it is, if your sister is listening, that's a good thing that she's listening, because maybe it's something that she never thought about.
Oh
Maybe
wait,
maybe
it's
she
when I make
knows
the
that when
phone
I call
call.
my sister, I don't need to call her when I'm in need. Let me call her just to see how she
She
doing.
gonna believe me. She gonna pay me back.
It's all good, man. That's a part of it.
I'm gonna call her and she gonna be busy, then vice versa. And then when
Yeah.
she call me, I'm be like, "Click, I can't talk right now. I have to call you back." It's just,
Yeah, what you
and
and your
she got,
sister can do. Yeah,
she has
call her
to
when y'all
see
get off the line, or call her and express to her how you feel.
me.
And the thing
I mean,
about it, she may not know. Is she your older sister or your younger sister?
oh, I'm the oldest. She's the youngest.
Oh, she don't care how you feel. Whatever you got, she want it. She don't care. She feel like she's entitled. I got a younger sister that come to my house. Well, I promise you, when she come, I tell the kids, put all my Victoria's Secret and all my sprays in the bucket under the bed. Cause she still, she walks away with stuff that don't belong to her. You gotta watch her. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's about her. She said, every time I come over here, you be having these nice little things and stuff. And girl, she will walk away with the conditioner.
Yes,
While she telling me it's nice, putting it in her purse. So yeah, you gotta watch them little
but
sisters.
she does have the cutest little grandsons. I have a great
That's
nephew.
good. Yeah, but just talk to her. Just talk
Just
to her
talk
and
to her about
communicate with her, because
you know how it is, them little sisters.
yeah, I know
Okay.
them little sisters is off the hook.
Thank you.
Tell us about your radio show.
Okay, well, you guys, Divine, I've been doing radio for almost 5 years. The radio show, I'm gonna start back doing it on this Tuesday at 7. I'm gonna be on Facebook Live, so I'll be live streaming through all the Instagram, Spotify, Sprinkers. I was on Accelerated Radio channel too, so I have that logo on there, because you're able to go back to Accelerated Radio and put in Soul Divine Ray, and all those episodes and everything still come up. So I'm learning how to now upload all those videos and put them on my YouTube page, because I'm dealing with these young kids, and they trying, like, the kids are like, I didn't know you could do that. They was like, yeah, mom, you can put all this together in one place. So I said, okay, that's what I'm doing. So I'm on 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. And you guys can find me on Soul Divine Radio, or on Roshanda Casteel on the Facebook page, and on Instagram at Roshanda20. So I'm excited because I
Tell them
love,
the name of the show.
huh?
Tell them the name of it.
The name of the show is Soul Divine Radio.
Okay, what about the clap? Sometimes you got to clap
Oh,
for you.
my theme. It's clap for your damn self.
Mm,
I always leave with like 2 minutes of inspiration, where I tell people that, no, nobody don't call you, and they see that you got the promotion and you share, and they don't clap for you. It's okay. Clap for your damn self. You don't need their permission. You don't need their applause, girl. You got 2 hands. You better clap it up for you, because if you don't, who will?
exactly.
That's my motto: is to clap for your damn self.
All right. Well, it has been a pleasure
Nice to meet
having
you.
Roshanda Casteel come on here telling us about these healthy relationships. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
I do have someone that wants to connect with you about
Okay.
a possible interview on their podcast. I can
Okay.
send you the message later.
Okay, great, great. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so y'all, this was fun. I know we went a little bit over, but it was fun. And Roshanda came with this knowledge and she dropped some bombs. I got to find that answer machine and put that on my phone so people can hear.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. But we will be back here next Saturday on Under the Scope, where good tea and reads are welcome. See you
Thank
next Saturday, everyone. Thank
All
you
right. See you
again,
guys later.
Roshanda.
Bye bye. Have a
Bye,
good day.
everyone. Love you all.
Bye bye.
Bye.